How's it going, YouTube? It's Ian here from Racket.net, Northwest Badminton and Tennis. Now today, this video, a lot of viewers has been requesting for a lot of times. It's because I have been mentioning my own racket, my personal racket, Redson Shape SG. And a lot of you guys said you want a detailed review into this racket, so here it is. Now in this video, I will not talk too much about colorings, technology. I want to share more about the experience I have with this racket for the past year, and also the playing, the change of my play when I start using these kind of rackets compared to my Astrox 88S Pro and Astrox 88S. I was originally sponsored by Victor, so my racket was Victor Jet Speed 12. We have a detailed review of Jet Speed 12 second generation coming up, so stay tuned. So I used Victor for a long time during my junior years back in Taiwan. And since I started coaching here, Yonex USA has been sponsoring me, has been my main sponsor. So this is the only racket I use. I don't like to say this, but yes, they are. They are more of the second tier brand. The first tier will probably be Yonex, Victor, and Leaning, but they definitely do a good job. That's why I keep using them, and that's why I like to share with you guys. So in the Redson SG, Shape SG, that's the full name. The color has two colors. So there's white for the 4U and there's blue for the 3U, which is the one I have personally. It's a matte finish design, and the reason why I like about the design is because it's very simple. They have a very simplistic design in the racket, and it just looks very classic. Now, if you take a look at Yonex or Victor nowadays, everything is getting a little bit too busy in there. So too busy, too much bling, too much, coloring. It's definitely not my cup of tea. Some of you guys might like it, but I like a little bit more simplistic. This is definitely one of the best looking racket I currently have. If you take a look at the website, on our website, Racket.net, you can take a look at all their models. Every single model has a very nice looking in there, and the design is very simple. And most of the racket, and actually every racket that they have, is matte finish. So there's rarely gloss finish in there. So the coloring definitely looks very good. Now let's get into details for materials and build. Now I'm not going to go into too much details about the materials and all the stuff in there. I can tell you it's high monocle graphite, it's perfect, it's woven, that's good. Now I want to talk about how this racket was built because it's very unique. Most of the rackets right now, it's built with inserts. So what are inserts? Inserts mean there's insert stuff like foam kind of stuff inside the frame. Not every single racket has it, but a lot of them do have it. Now it's not bad. Yonex started it. So Yonex is the first company who used inserts. They take away the shock, muted the sound, makes the player feels good, but it also sacrifices some of the durability in the frame. So you'll see a lot of rackets from the old days, like the Muscle Power. They are super tough. In Victor, Super Waves. Do you guys know Super Waves? Hey, that's my first sponsor racket from Victor. So Super Wave, super tough. But if you take a look at Jet Speed, if you take a look at Nano Flare, dang, they are just very, very fragile. So that's the reason, because they are using inserts or injection foams in there. Now Redson go back to the very traditional way of making racket, which is a hollow, complete hollow frame. So when you string this racket, if you put it in the hole and you didn't go through the other side, it'll actually keep going around the racket. So you will have the string keep going there, and it will actually circle the racket around. So it's completely hollow inside the frame. So what's the good thing about it? So how they make it is they blow into the racket when they make it. So that means they need a very thick and very strong carbon fiber layer to shape it. First of all, like that, and then they blow air into it and make it expand and then form a very solid racket. That's how rackets should be made. I guess everyone try to cut costs nowadays, so either way works. But for me, I still do like the hollow feel that Redson have. Now talking about another way they make the frame. This racket, it's so special, but they are not the first, but they are one of the best who did this, is no grommets design. So when I say no grommets, meaning the 12th, the 3rd, and the 9 o'clock, it's grommetless. On the side, because there is shear holes, you still need grommets to help the racket sustain the pressure on tying off the knots. But apparently the company said they are coming out with a racket that is no grommets, like complete grommetless, but we'll get to that when it comes out. And this racket is a 72 hole design. And when I said no grommets, meaning they drill the hole very specially. Most of the conventional rackets with grommets, it's at least 2mm width for the hole so that they can fit the grommets in there. Redson Shape SG, they only drill 1mm. So that means the hole is a lot smaller. So when rackets were built, they were meant to be no holes. So people will have to drill holes on manually. So the bigger hole you drill, the more fiber you cut off, because fibers are all connected. So you have to cut off the fiber to create the hole. Now for these, since there's less holes, so that means there's less damage to the frame. So that's why it's a lot more solid. And I've been playing this for 1 year and I actually slam it into the wall for some reason because I was trying to kill a spider, but my racket still stands right now. So it's definitely very, very strong build. Now, some of you guys might wonder, without the grommets design, how does they make it? So they actually have a special laser cutting inside of the frame. So when you string this racket is not very easy to string. You need to go in the same and right direction, otherwise it will not go through the hole. So that's how it protects it from cutting into the frame and also protect your string from breaking that easily. And this racket definitely has really nice tension hold. Now we're moving on into playing field. So I went to Seattle Badminton Club, did some hitting with a friend of mine, and we did clears, we did drops, we did smashes, basically everything. So I would like to let you know is this racket definitely sounds really, really nice because without the grommet design, it allows the racket to resonate a lot more, the string to resonate a lot more, to react with the frame more directly. So the feel on your hand, it's very, very soft. Especially it comes with a medium flex shaft. Now some of you guys might say, I am a stiff flex player. I don't want to use a medium flex racket because it weakens my shot and so on. Well, that's actually only half of them, it's true. So I am a stiff player, I'm not a stiff player. I use a stiff flex to play badminton as well. And this is my only medium flex I use. But the reason why I grow to like this more is because in the game, smash is not the only thing you play. In a game, a lot of time is about the passive shot. That's how the racket shows you that it can perform what it can do. Otherwise, if we are just playing smashes throughout the whole match, I mean, I can play with all kinds of racket that way. And same with you. This shaft with this frame, it's very easy for you to maneuver around the court. And also, you don't need a lot of body to whip this racket out. So when I say whip, meaning using more hands, fingers, and wrist technique rather than your whole arm. So a lot of players, they come into our store, they demo this racket, they will be like, no, I like the Astrox 99 Pro more because I get a stronger smash. A lot of them is because the techniques are wrong. They are using their whole body to hit it. So when you're using your whole body to hit it, you will feel like a stiffer flex. With a more hit heavy, you get more power. But that's not the way you play badminton, you know? Badminton is more about fingers. In Chinese, it's called 小发力. 小发力 means you don't need a lot of strength to get that bird out. It's more of small muscles technique. That's how you do deceptive shots. That's how you do trick shots, or that's how you just change direction without people noticing. And that's how it is. And this racket does that really well with the way I play. When I was still younger, I used to be a complete singles player. All my rackets is a 3U, definitely head heavy, extra stiff flex. It's because at that time I was jump smashing a lot, I was using my chest a lot more. But right now, since I've gone older and not practicing a lot, just coaching, I started to use a lot more smaller muscles. And for that, I think most of you guys should do that too, especially when you are a little bit older, okay? And you definitely will have less injuries that way. So this racket is for people who likes to use a little bit more techniques in their game rather than just complete power smashing. Now clears wise, I only use probably 40-50% of my power. It goes to the backline really well. And it's a 72 hole design, by the way. So the string will feel a little bit more going inside after you string this racket. And also, I forgot to mention the head shape. So this head shape in Chinese, again, it's called 小平头. So 平头 is where 平头 means it's flat head. So it's isometric, but isometric is more like, so 小平头 means it's a smaller flat head, and it's a lot more narrow up here because there's no individual grommets on top, so there's only 72 holes, and it's a more small flat head design, just like the Taizhiyin racket, the Victor TK Taizhiyin limited edition. So when I was using clay, like I said, I was only using 40% of my power, and then the bird goes pretty far. And same with backhand. I enjoy playing backhand, especially passive backhand with this racket the most. It's effortless, once you hit that sweet spot, it's effortless for you to guide that bird just over the net and keep the rally going. My net shot always has been one of my best game in my singles day. Assume I'm still at, and it doesn't let me down. This racket is very easy to play. It's very light, very even balanced. So when you go up the net, all you have to do is use the right technique to play. The shuttle reacts with the frame nicely and just guide the bird over. Now, talking about fast drives. Fast drive is something that I don't do a lot before, but right now I'm kind of getting into it a little bit more. This racket, like I said, it's an even balance design. So it moves with your swing very easily, especially when you try to accelerate a little bit when you contact the bird. Not just using your forearm, but accelerate a little bit with your fingers when you try to snap the bird out. So the medium flex frame with the 72-hole design and a little bit more flat head helps you hit that ball out very, very nicely and very focused sweet spot. And the sound is definitely good. Now, smashes wise, this racket does not produce the best smash. Okay, so if you're looking for very heavy, very strong, very fast smash, this is not the one that you want to go for. This is for people who wants to play a little bit more all-rounded, a little bit easy on their arm so that they can play at least 4 hours a day, or let's say 3 hours and every single day, and you don't get tired. This is the racket that you're gonna buy. But if you are using more wrist and more fingers on half smashes like slices, reverse slices, or just straight half smashes, which we do a lot in singles, this is the one that you want to go for. I just want to give it out there. A lot of you guys think that when you come try a racket, you want to find the most powerful one that can improve your game, but that's actually not true. What you want to improve is the all-round ability of you on court, and I think this racket definitely do that for you, and not using a lot of strength from your shoulder and your elbow so you don't get injuries. So I think that's the main point of this racket. So this racket is definitely aiming for beginners to advanced players. So if you're a beginner looking for a racket that you can use it for a long time, this is the one for you. And it's also aiming for people who wants to play an easier game, a more all-round game, a little bit faster but not too light. This is the one that you want to go for. Also for people who's looking for more sudden fast attack, this is one of the racket that you want to pick as well. Now, who are these not aiming for? Aiming for big muscles guys who want to use their whole chest to smash to get that very steep, very heavy smashes. This is not the racket for you. If you're a girl, can you use this kind of racket? Of course, yes. So this racket, the 4U version, is highly recommended for girls, and the 3U version is highly recommended for guys. Now, most of you guys out there, 4U is more popular among you guys, and you might think that 3U is a little bit too heavy, but what I can tell you is this racket for guys is definitely 3U recommended. It's because this racket, when they designed 3U, is only around 85 to 86 grams, and after that it's an even balanced frame, so it's not that heavy. It comes with a very special design I forgot to mention earlier. The reason why it's called Shape SG, SG stands for sounds good. Shape is because the shape of this racket is actually compressed. So what I mean is, when you take a look at the frame, it's not flat. Inside you will see dimples patterns. So that's how they make this racket a lot more aerodynamic instead of taking materials out from the frame. It's a very fast racket, even balanced racket. So 3U is highly recommended for guys, and then 4U is for girls. Now, one thing I want to point out is when you purchase this racket, you want to note that there is I wouldn't say a defect, but a thing that happens to the paint. Since there's no grommets, when you string at a certain tension, let's say 25 or 26 and above, the side of the grommet, the grommetless design, the side of it will have some paint loose. So the paint will start to come off. The racket is not broken, it's just because of the design, the grommet is kind of caving in a little bit. So when you string, it compresses the paint, so the paint will kind of come off a little bit, but no worries, it's completely normal. I think it looks just fine. You won't actually look at the racket like this when you play, so you don't have to worry about that. Basically, that sums up all the videos. Should you go ahead and buy it, consider it, or should you just avoid it? For me, I think if this is your first badminton racket, I think you can just go ahead and buy it. It's a no-brainer. Like I said, all levels can play with it. And remember to go to proracket.net to get your racket, and remember to get the string strung at our Yonex stringing team as well. Now, although this racket right now it's out of stock, but you can still pre-order them, because when it comes back in stock, it's still really fast. So definitely taking the chance of pre-ordering them can secure a racket for you. Now, any question, you are more than welcome to contact us. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can bring you more, not daily, but weekly content that probably can cheer you up a little bit more and can help you improve your badminton games. This is Ian from ProRacket.net and Northwest Badminton Tennis and Tennis. Sorry, Northwest Badminton and Tennis. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.